At exactly 2 in this morning, a capital city goes dark. Streetlights blink out one by one. Cell towers fall silent. Radios dissolve into static. Above the clouds, engines do not roar, they whisper. In that silence, in that carefully engineered absence of sound and light, history changes without asking permission. This is not a story that ever appeared on a front page. This is not a war that was declared or a victory announced. This is a what-if. A serious, methodical exploration of how the most sensitive operation imaginable could unfold while the entire world is watching somewhere else. Imagine this moment. While cameras track U.S. aircraft carriers in the Caribbean and analysts argue on television about naval posturing, something else is already moving. Quietly, invisibly, not an invasion, not regime change by force, a surgical extraction. The kind of operation reserved for a single category of target. A high-value individual whose sudden removal would reshape geopolitics overnight. In this scenario, the United States does not send divisions or armor. It sends time, preparation, and deception. For months beforehand, pressure tightens around Venezuela. Sanctions harden. Naval patrols expand. A visible maritime presence builds offshore. Aircraft carriers, destroyers, amphibious assault ships. Enough steel in the water to dominate headlines. Enough movement to convince the world that the sea is where the story will unfold. That attention becomes the weapon. Because modern war does not begin with bombs, it begins with focus, and focus can be manipulated. Behind that spectacle, intelligence agencies narrow their gaze onto one man, Nicolas Maduro. Every routine is mapped. Every secure location evaluated. Patterns are logged. Windows are identified. They wait for a moment when movement stops, when predictability sets in, when security overlaps just enough to create a vulnerability. That moment is never announced. It is discovered. The strike window opens at 2 a.m. local time. High above Venezuelan airspace, stealth aircraft move first. Not to destroy cities, not to shock populations, but to blind systems. Radar coverage fractures. Communications degrade. Air defense networks hesitate, not knowing what they are seeing or what they are missing. This is where technology quietly replaces brute force. Older aircraft rely on speed and altitude. Stealth aircraft rely on invisibility, electronic warfare, and confusion. In this scenario, the F-35 does not dominate the sky by being seen. It dominates by not being there at all. As sensors falter, helicopters lift off low and fast, hugging terrain, skimming rooftops, flying below radar envelopes. They are masked by electronic noise and by distant detonations miles away at military installations and air bases. Those explosions are not meant to conquer territory. They are meant to pull attention outward, away from the city, away from the real objective. Witnesses later describe thunder in the distance while shadows pass overhead. By the time anyone understands the direction of the threat, it is already inside Caracas. On the ground, the unit hypothetically tasked with this mission is Delta Force. No insignia, no announcements, no wasted movement. These operators are trained not just for speed, but for certainty. Every hallway has been memorized, every door measured. Thousands of miles away, an exact replica of the target building has been constructed. The assault team has rehearsed the raid until they can do it blindfolded in darkness under stress. This is not improvisation. This is repetition turned into instinct. Helicopters hover just long enough to deploy assault elements onto a secured compound believed to be tied to the presidential security network. Flash grenades tear night into white light. Doors are breached in seconds. Rooms are cleared with mechanical precision. Resistance, if it appears at all, is overwhelmed before it can organize. This is not a negotiation. No speech is given. No warnings issued. Control is established faster than comprehension. Inside the target is located and physically secured along with immediate family. Identity confirmation follows immediately. Biometrics. Visual verification. Time checks. From landing to extraction, the ground phase lasts minutes, not hours, not debates. The helicopters rise vertically into a city that is only beginning to wake up. Flares burn like false suns. Electronic warfare saturates the air. By the time sirens begin to wail and commanders reach for phones that no longer connect, the aircraft are already gone. They move fast toward international airspace, then onward to a floating staging base in the Caribbean. Only after the rotors fade does the realization spread. By dawn, the president of Venezuela is gone. Stepping back, history tells us that operations like this are rare, but not unheard of. Targeted captures, decapitation, strikes, covert extractions have occurred before. Every time they send shockwaves far beyond the battlefield. Venezuela is not a soft target. Its airspace is layered with Russian-designed surface-to-air missiles, Chinese radar systems, mobile air defenses, and drone networks. Its air force relies on aging but capable fighters, constrained by maintenance and sanctions. This environment is precisely why stealth matters, why deception matters, and why older platforms would struggle to survive. Visibility becomes vulnerability. Speed alone is no longer enough. If such an extraction occurred, the consequences would be immediate and severe. Inside Venezuela, a power vacuum opens instantly. Competing claims of authority emerge. Military units hesitate, unsure who gives orders. Civil unrest becomes a real risk as institutions scramble to reassert control. Regionally, shock ripples across South America. Emergency summits are called. Alliances recalibrate in real time. Globally, condemnations follow. Legal debates erupt over sovereignty and international law. The operation does not end when the helicopters land. It begins a new phase of instability. Removing a leader does not remove a system. It destabilizes it. It exposes fractures that were previously contained. It forces every actor to choose sides faster than they are ready. This hypothetical scenario is not about celebrating force or predicting outcomes. It is about understanding how modern power operates when technology, psychology, and timing converge. Wars are no longer always announced. Battles are not always fought where cameras point. The most decisive moments can unfold in silence between news cycles while attention is deliberately misdirected. If such an operation were possible, it would signal something profound about the future of conflict. Less occupation, more precision, less spectacle, more deception. But it also raises a final, unsettling question. If a head of state can be removed without warning, without invasion, without a single public battle, what does sovereignty mean in an age of stealth, data, and denial? And in the next, what if the question grows even darker? What happens when two great powers attempt the same operation against each other?